y'all. We're going to convene together again. I love all the conversations. You know, one of the things that I loved the most about last night was just how folks who had never met one another before sat right down together at the table, and we're talking all the way home in the Uber. So it's wonderful to be convened together again now. And I just also, as we go into this next session, I just want to appreciate the extraordinary leaders and the extraordinary leaders from many generations, including our distinguished elders who are here with us today. The session that I just attended was led by Diane Dillon Ridgely. And Diane is, I don't even know, I can't even begin to describe her bio. She has been in so many places and spaces and in so many boards and has mentored so many young people. I ain't young anymore, but including me, mentored me. And it was just not just a blessing, it was an honor, you know, to be in the room, to hear what she had to say and challenging us, among many things, to make this the justice century. So if you didn't have a chance to hear Diane, I would encourage you to spend some time with her in the hours that we have with her this afternoon before she heads out. And as we go into this next session, I am absolutely thrilled to honor Mr. Curtis Wynn, who is here with us on video and zooming in from the Secretary of Agriculture's Equity Advisory Council. I think I got that title right, out in Arizona today. And some of you know Curtis. Some of you are familiar with his leadership. His leadership in building the energy, it was the utility of the future at Roanoke Cooperative in eastern North Carolina, in leading NRECA as its elected president, and in sharing with us today via a video that he's recorded for us, a powerful message, a vision for the future of rural power. And to me also a mentor and a friend who has taught me so much, not just by what he shared with me, by what he, taught me in conversation, but by watching him, watching what he does, watching what he demonstrates, not just what he built, but how he shows up and how he leads and how he brings people together. So I am very humbled today to honor Curtis with the very first Champion of Rural Power Award. And y'all see here, and I'm gonna hold it up. Curtis, I know you can't see it, but I've been worrying you to death with how cool I think this thing is. With Made in America, 100% grown in America, Champion of Rural Power from Mr. Curtis Wynn. And this jacket's probably a little more country than Curtis is. But I am so grateful to be able to recognize his leadership. So Curtis, you want to share a few words with us? Thank you for zooming in with us from Arizona with the Secretary of Agriculture, whose name has been invoked many times today. And then we will look forward to hearing your visionary address too. So please, Curtis.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I am so disappointed that I'm not there. I wish that I was in the crowd with everybody. I can almost feel the energy from where I'm sitting because, Michelle, I know you're putting on a top-notch program, but it's just an honor. I won't belabor how much appreciation I have for just being recognized for this. This is important work that we're doing, and I'm just happy to have had this opportunity to be a part of it. Continue to enjoy yourselves. I appreciate the recognition, but the honor and the recognition goes to everybody in the room because we're all in this thing together. And I just want to I'm just let you know how much I'm happy to be a part of that. So thank you. And most importantly, thank you for that nice jacket. I can't wait to get it. So you can ship it regular mail, but I'll be waiting for it. But thank you guys once again. I can't wait to sport it. So from being a country boy, which I am, it's just country enough. So thank you for that. So I'll let you go ahead and roll the video, and I hope it's meaningful to everybody in the room. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Curtis. We love you. All right. Vision for rural power, y'all.
Hello. Thank you, Michelle, for the very kind introduction and for recognizing me for the Rural Power Champion Award and for that awesome jacket that you just let me have. This is truly an honor. I really regret not being there with you today when Michelle asked me to be a part of the exciting Rural Renaissance Roadshow. Not only was I humble, but determined to make this work, even remotely. Further, when a servant leader like Michelle Moore asks for your presence, just figure out a way to make that happen. And I'm glad to do that. I'm bringing you greetings from Tucson, Arizona, where I'm finishing up my role to advise the recently appointed USDA Equity Commission, who has worked extremely hard over the past several months to identify and recommend actions to remove barriers to equitable access and use of USDA programs, their policies, their systems, their structures, and practices, including those impediments that are internal, external, discretionary, or statutory. Now, while this is not the first time this type of effort has been undertaken, I hope the recommendations we have put forth will have staying power. I encourage you to Google USDA Equity Commission recommendations to look these over. And as the lone Rural Electric Cooperative member of the Rural Community and Economic Development Subcommittee, I have championed recommendation number 2.8, which deals with improving support for underserved communities through rural utilities. So please pay close attention to that recommendation. You know, USDA is a powerful agency that has really made a difference in the lives of many people. Secretary Vilsack admits that there is still so much more that it can do to improve underserved communities, and he has charged us to bring forward a set of bold and unapologetic recommendations that he will charge his staff to act upon. I have spent my long career working in the rural utility space. I've seen and I've experienced firsthand during my long tenure how America's electric cooperatives, when intertwined and engaged with other rural partners, can make sizable differences in the communities in which they serve. So today, I will reflect on local and national efforts envisioned and acted upon, including those during my time here at SECO Energy, and also efforts that my friends and I at Roanoke Electric put in place during my 24-year tenure in North Carolina. Let me start by using a wider lens to share insights from my time serving in a leadership capacity for our National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. When I was passed the gavel from my good friend Phil Carson, the focus from his platform was centered around good governance. His platform was a fundamental component of the platform I chose for my presidency, which was acknowledging the rapid pace of change in our industry and the actions that we must take to deal with the realities of the next generation of electric cooperatives. I found my start in this business at age 17 with the local electric cooperative in my hometown in Graceville, Florida, washing those big trucks and keeping the warehouse and stores spotless. Now, over my 17 years working for West Florida Electric Cooperative, I held a series of administrative, supervisory, mid-level, and senior management positions. Now, when Roanoke Electric offered me the top post, my wife Celine and I were excited to go to a place that would give us the chance to fulfill a desire that so many of us share. And that is to live a life full of purpose and promise through a top-level leadership role. Believe me, while at Roanoke, we had our share of challenges. You see, 6 of the 7 counties we serve were then and are today recognized by the federal government for high percentages of people that are living in poverty. And in that respect, we're not alone. Nationwide, 92% of the high poverty level counties in the United States are served by electric cooperatives. Given the situations we saw daily, we had to be more than an electric company that collects from people who can barely pay their bills. Our board, our staff, and I recognized that Roanoke Electric had the purpose and promise of being an engine of opportunity in the community we serve by giving back as much as we can. Now, today, my staff at SECO Energy and I are recognizing that same reality, especially in those rural, economically distressed areas where roughly 1/3 of the 230,000 members we serve here in Central Florida live. We were founded to deliver electricity and economic opportunity, which requires us to be resourceful and explore new investments. I spoke extensively during my tenure as an NRECA officer and during my presidency about 3 important realities about the future of our business. Number 1, the future of the industry is market-driven. Market forces and consumer expectations are driving change for co-ops as much as, or even more than, those legislative actions and federal administrative policy. Number 2, the future demands sustainable and efficient operations. Consumers expect us to include more and more renewable resources in our delivery of reliable electricity. And number 3, the future requires grid flexibility. You see, a smart grid is necessary, but not sufficient to sustain our energy future. We must maintain a balance between generation and load by exploring and utilizing more and more options on the members' side of the meter. This shared responsibility is becoming more prevalent as extreme weather conditions push our generation, our transmission, and distribution capabilities to near capacity limits. Today, much of what is impacting our businesses is happening inside the homes and businesses we serve, which brings immense opportunities and imperatives on the member owner's side of the meter. Rural electric cooperatives proudly hold the status of being trusted energy advisors. Now, during my tenure as NRECA's board president, I challenged my colleagues to begin seeing ourselves as our members' trusted energy investors. In this new role as trusted energy investors, the case has already been made that through well-planned and smart investments, the next generation of smart, efficient, and sustainable electric cooperative service can become a reality for all of our members. And that matters to the future of our co-ops. I've heard, as I'm sure you have heard, speaker after speaker talk about the need to innovate technologically. To do this, many future-focused electric co-op leaders are not reinventing the wheel. We are adapting the wheel to meet the evolving needs of our member owners. We're using tools we have at our disposal differently to meet our challenges. We are drawing on existing products and services to produce new sources of value. This approach makes good use of current resources, and it reimagines how we use them and how we interact with our members. Let me share a few examples. During my time at Roanoke, we saw that member owners in the farming sector were losing their land at an alarming rate. So we adapted the business to include forest stewardship, forging the Sustainable Forestry and Land Retention Initiative. This was with a host of partners, some of whom are with us today. Now, as a result, Roanoke Electric Cooperative, now under the awesome leadership of Marshall Cherry and support of Alton Perry is supporting good land retention practices such as replanting trees after their harvest, establishing detailed forest management plans to lessen property tax burdens, developing wills and clearing the title of heirs property, and teaching ways to receive top dollar for timber sales. All of these designed to reverse this devastating trend and loss of over $14 billion in economic value to mostly African American landowners, many of whom were our electric cooperative member owners. These gentlemen have even explored ways to incorporate these land retention efforts into solar development opportunities. Now here's another example related to high bills and energy burdens, and speaks directly to being a trusted energy investor. At quarterly town hall forums hosted by our board members, we heard repeatedly that high bills were a big problem. Whether you're a residential consumer or a small business, if you can't afford to pay your bill, you certainly can't pay for measures needed to lower your bill, such as purchasing a new efficient heat pump. Even if making these investments could save money both immediately and in the long run, you just couldn't do it.
I had some issues with my heat and air. I knew it wasn't doing the job that it should do for the house. I'm like a lot of other folks, credit's not the greatest in the world, couldn't afford to have it fixed, was worried about the age of the unit, when it was going to be playing out, because I keep it serviced, but wondering how much longer it was actually going to last. Light bills were running in the $500 range, and just for one person in the house, it's kind of high. It was a major strain. Like I say, I'm here by myself. It's hard to pay the bills as it is, and then when you get a bill that's as high as that, it's detrimental. It scares you to death to start with, and then I usually have to have my bills extended anyway, so that's another $6 that's added onto it.
Our area here is one that really has not experienced any growth in well over 30 to 40 years. And so with that, obviously it does bring challenges in the fact that we do not have business and industry in this area that will generate wealth-creating opportunities for families. And that presents a very unique challenge for us and our leadership team and other stakeholders here at Roanoke Electric.
So the Upgrade to Save project is not one we did alone, of course. We sought help from our network and our partners. We engaged traditional and new partners to develop this new smart investment business opportunity. We relied once again on our great cooperative network in Kentucky and Kansas. Co-ops like Midwest Energy and other electric cooperatives in eastern Kentucky showed us how they had helped member owners overcome the pervasive upfront cost barrier. They conducted energy audits to determine where energy loss is occurring, how it can be corrected, and what it will cost. Then the co-ops became investment advisors, making the changes needed, and the member pays for the efficiency upgrades each month out of the average energy savings generated by those upgrades. Now, these programs put energy efficiency in reach of those who need it the most. And in most cases, it means so much. And that matters to members. It mattered to Jeff Gully. Roanoke Electric did a detailed financial analysis that showed we could also create new value for the cooperative, our cooperative, and our member owners by investing in energy upgrades on the member owner side of the meter. Just as the co-ops in Kansas and Kentucky helped us, Roanoke became a trailblazer in this area and is helping cooperatives in Arkansas and Tennessee. Ouachita Electric in Arkansas, like Roanoke, serves persistent poverty areas with renters. When they realized their loan program failed to reach low-income members and renters, groups who needed help the most, they adapted their own tariff investment program. They are now serving homeowners, renters, low and middle incomes, multifamily dwellings, a local college, and a municipal building, helping all of them cut their costs while also creating value for their utility.
And that matters to Crystal Anthony. It keeps getting better. I have a news flash. In North Carolina, Duke Energy recently announced that they are establishing an inclusive energy efficiency program starting in 2024. And that program is modeled after Roanoke Electric's Upgrade to Save program. Millions will now be relieved of their energy burden, just like Crystal. Many of us are also interested in electrifying our school bus fleets, which are in many cases the largest fleets of diesel vehicles in our service area. Dakota Electric and Great River Energy have already teamed up to demonstrate the technology and processes around electrifying school bus fleets. Alfalfa Electric, a distribution co-op, and its generation and transmission co-op, Western Farmers, located in Oklahoma, have promoted ground source heat pumps for decades in both residential and commercial applications. Cherokee High School had a natural gas system that was badly in need of repairs. Part of their system had not been operable for years, so the school compensated by using space heaters in their classrooms. They have helped convert the heating and cooling systems of all 3 Cherokee schools from natural gas to electric heat pump technology. It reduced the school's winter season gas consumption by at least 85% and reduces total energy bills by more than 20%. This initiative was beneficial for the school, for the community, and for the co-op. Getting involved with the member increased electric sales, decreased energy bills, improved member relations, and reduced peak demand. Now, all of that matters. With so many rewarding experiences during my tenure at Roanoke Electric Cooperative, I am excited to open new opportunities for the 230,000 plus members we serve here in Central Florida. We have a dedicated leadership team that is ready to take on new challenges as we manage the tremendous growth and pay close attention to those long-tenured member consumers on whose backs this very large electric cooperative was established and has been maintained. Our 2023 through 2025 mission, vision, and values are in place, and we have laid the foundation for an exciting run of transforming the very good SECO Energy to the cooperative of the future. We manage by way of a strategy execution system that is taking SECO into the future. It is SECO's true north. And for simplicity reasons, we summarize this detailed strategy using a one-page strategy map. To keep pace with the evolving energy industry, SECO has adopted a new mission, a forward-looking vision, and a sound set of core values. Our mission is to provide reliable, innovative energy services to our members and our communities. Looking ahead, by 2025, SECO Energy envisions itself as a utility company that leads the industry in member satisfaction and engagement and is the preferred employer in our region. Core values, these are the ideals we ask our employees to strive for, and we look for these characteristics in prospective employees as well. Safety, first and foremost, is important to all of us. Field work in this industry, in the energy industry, is inherently dangerous. So we place safety as the highest priority. Now, safety is followed by member commitment, honesty and integrity, strong work ethic, inclusive culture, accountability, and teamwork. You can trust that every interaction with a SECO employee or board member is grounded by these values. Below those are our 4 different perspectives from which we draw our work, and underneath which we also have set specific goals to fulfill our mission, vision, and live up to those values. They are people and culture, operational initiatives, financial, and last but not least, the members. The bottom perspective is what I call the bottom line. Out of all the work we do, we strive to have our members to enthusiastically make these three statements about their electric cooperative. We want them to say, SECO Energy is reliable and a good value. We want them to be able to also say, SECO Energy helps me manage my energy usage. And finally, we want our members to also tell us that SECO Energy is their trusted source of energy solutions. Our smart grid technology roadmap gives us a more guided and disciplined approach to becoming the cooperative of the future. See, being technologically advanced requires both discipline and focus to avoid chasing technology pipe dreams. Providing clean, reliable, and affordable electric service to our rural citizens matters and requires an intentional plan to become a reality. Today, electric utilities are experiencing a unique combination of both market forces and federal policy driving us towards cleaner and more technologically advanced energy delivery. As rural electric cooperative leaders, we owe it to our rural member consumers to make sure they are not left behind as the industry experiences imminent transition. We have established an aggressive timeline to implement several very costly initiatives, such as deploying advanced metering infrastructure for the very first time, modernizing our operating centers that only have the capacity now to serve 1/4 of the members that we currently serve, upgrading our over 60,000 outdoor lights from outdated high-pressure sodium to LED technology, managing load with distributed energy resource management systems, and the list goes on. And the price tag to do all of this is very high, nearly $1.5 billion high. So federal policy that aligns with consumer demands and expectations backed by funding opportunities could not have come at a better time. We are aggressively tapping into funds made available through the Inflation Reduction Act, Rural Utility Services New Era, EPA's Solar for All, and this one is in collaboration with Groundswell. We're even working with FEMA to harden our system. I'd never imagined we would see the stars align as they have over the past several months. Since they are aligned, as leaders, we must act now and with a sense of urgency to take advantage of once-in-a-lifetime and once-in-a-generation funding. And these are opportunities that are right here in front of us right now. So in conclusion, I hope the few examples that I've shared today clearly demonstrate how electric cooperatives are using adaptive approaches to effectively serve all of their member owners. In today's environment, we're seeing that change is happening at an exponential pace. Developing and executing a strategy is vital to successfully understanding member challenges and finding solutions to address those challenges. More importantly, what we've noticed here at SECO is that having a plan and a clear strategy has prepared us to respond to the very short windows of opportunity that we've had to submit letters of interest and full applications to recent funding opportunities. So when we act matters. And I'll leave you with 3 suggestions for replicating the few examples I've shared. The first is identify and connect with partners, both traditional and non-traditional, to address common challenges in new and innovative ways. The second is consider new adaptive business strategies that seize opportunities to become trusted investors behind the meter. And finally, be inclusive and intentional about addressing the unique needs of all of your member consumers, especially those with high energy burdens. A charge similar to the one for which we were created nearly 85 years ago. And in all things, just remember, it matters to the overall movement of those working hard every day for a rural renaissance. It matters to the communities we serve. And most importantly, it matters to the member owners, especially those who are traditionally underserved, economically distressed, and energy burdened. Thank you for having me today, and have a good day.
Sure, y'all can understand why Curtis inspires me. You know, it is a vision for how rural co-ops, and I would say we'll welcome the municipal utilities in as well, public power utilities, into rooting right values, into rooting right moral orientation, into how we work with our communities. And one of the things that Curtis talked about was the importance of partnerships and non-traditional partnerships. And he also put a pretty big price tag on what a lot of this implementation is going to cost. And when we think about not just the energy part of it, but all the ways in which our energy systems are very deeply connected to economic development and economic opportunity, it's going to take private capital, you know, coming in and working with all those public funds too. And not just private capital, and we'll learn a lot more about this as we dig in this afternoon and tomorrow too, but private capital who could work with rural and underserved communities where, you know, you're not talking about $100 million project, because quite frankly, I see a lot of, I'm gonna watch, a lot of heads are gonna nod when I say this. It's easier to finance a big project than it is a little one. And so the challenge is making all those little ones work together in a line so we can get dollars and opportunity. And to Diane's challenge to all of us this afternoon, justice and truth out into the way that we work.